to play a very large part of our business. Then one of the best ways to save money is to turn your lights off. And if we can give you a little bit of assistance in doing so, we have a number of different opportunities to turn lights off. So we're all very familiar with occupancy sensors. Our occupancy sensor line is Sensorswitch. It's up in the top right corner there. This is your basic control. Turn lights on, walk in a room, turn lights on, walk out of the room, and a couple minutes later your lights go off. When we take that technology and we put it on a fixture, it now controls that one fixture, which is nice because now we're even more specific to the control that we can have. For example, if we're in an arena, if we're in a warehouse, we're in an office, and you have a sensor on each fixture, it'll be more sensitive to the space. As you're walking through that space, only that small group of lights will come on, as opposed to grouping sensors in a larger area. Again, depending on the type of space that it is, there is benefits to grouping everything together, and you want all those lights to come on at the same time, i.e. an arena. You want all those lights to stay on. You're not looking for, the far end goalkeeper's lights to go off on them, although it would be a little bit of amusing, at least for me. And as you skate around the arena, the lights go back on. So there is purpose and reason for setting up occupancy sensor within a space. I'm not going to talk about all of the controls today. I'm going to talk about specifically two. We have an nLight control, and we have Xpoint Wireless. nLight is just noted there underneath Sensorswitch. nLight is an Cat5e system. nLight is a Cat5e system. So basically you take each device, whether it be the fixture or the switch or the occupancy sensor, and you can have them talk together with Cat5e. It's a very simple, low-cost way of control. It's actually, for the install side, it's a huge cost-saving time effort, because you don't have, assuming that the control is on the fixture, all the installer has to do is run that Cat5e to the fixture, and in essence, we have now made that light fixture a device. And that we have the ability now to control that through the Cat5e. And really, they just daisy chain those along. We're going to look at that in a couple of minutes. Just before I go, sorry, we're going to, if you pop your eye over to the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see Xpoint Wireless. Xpoint Wireless is the next step beyond the Cat5e. It's just that. It's wireless. So you have a little bit of wiring up to a certain point. Again, we'll see it a little bit later. But in essence, the full system is a wireless system. There's a number of different sensor options when you're dealing with Sensorswitch or occupancy sensors. You can have it on a sensor on the fixture, on your wall, which you may have in your home, on the ceiling, or down a hall. It's depending on what you want, what the focus of your design is, would dictate what kind of sensor we would choose. There's a lot of information on this screen, but really what I would like to point out here is the second line, dual technology with PIR and Microphonics. Everybody turns their lights on the same way, passive infrared, PIR. You walk into a room, your lights go on, you leave the room, your lights go off. Many have a secondary technology. Many are ultrasonic. Again, it's after the lights have been turned on by your walking into the room, the ultrasonic kicks in, it sends out a wave, it looks for something to bounce off of, it sends a wave back, and it keeps those lights on. In essence, actually using a little bit more energy. Microphonics is our technology. Basically, we sit quietly, passively, listening for you. So after, again, we've turned the lights on with PIR, you're sitting behind maybe a low room divider, you're very quiet, you're very still, and the lights go off. As soon as you made a movement, or we are very commonly will say, hey, the Microphonics will pick up that sound and turn those lights back on. Also, the Microphonics is also listening for other noise in the room. Walking around, conversations, typing on your computer will help keep those lights on. So that's one of the differences between us and the other guy. It's a quiet technology, not using any more power, but gives us the opportunity to give us a backup, if you will, to the passive infrared if for some reason that PIR can't see every space in the room. Another very good example of the microphonics or the dual technologies in a bathroom. More to the microphonics point, PDT is our dual technology is what we're referring to there, just having a backup to the passive infrared. Where it says requires less power, back to what I had mentioned before, ultrasonic sends out a wave and comes back. That is actually actively using power to do all of that function. Again, we do not. We sit passively in the background just listening. I talked a little bit already about the different types of sensors. The WSX is your wall sensor. You can now have occupancy sensor and daylight harvesting in that same sensor. That's a new technology. You can have your ceiling sensor do the same, the CM. The WB is your wall sensor, and the LSXR is what you would typically see on one of our high bays that would go into an arena area. Again, has the technology options for not only passive infrared, but daylight harvesting as well if we so desire to go down that road. nLight. Like I had mentioned, nLight is a Cat5e based system. It looks at everything as a device. There is limitations, but they are robust to the way we can put together a system. But the ease of installation, the way of communication is very simple. Once we start with our basic nLight system, which is most spaces, if we need to, we can also grow that system with bridges and gateways in our software. We are able to do a full building by growing that system with these bridges and gateways and giving you some control through the Sensorview software. I'm just going to show you a couple different ways of why I'm talking about the ease of installation of the product. You'll see a WSX PDT on the screen. That's our device. That device is nLight enabled and actually only requires the Cat5e cable connection. It does not require any power to it in this case. The NPP16D will sometimes be at the beginning of the circuit or attached to the fixture. If it's not attached to the fixture, there is some low voltage wires that need to come out of it to talk to the fixture. Or we put that device right into the fixture, and all of a sudden it's one piece of Cat5e directly to the fixture, and you're done. That's your whole control. Now you actually have up, down, on, off dimming. You have daylight, assuming a 0 to 10 volt or a dimming device in the fixture. You have up, down, on, off control. You have daylight harvesting. You could have occupancy sensor, depending on the device on the wall or the ceiling that we choose. If we wanted to grow that a little bit, again, it gets a little bit busier. Just for a moment, we're going to add a couple of occupancy sensors, a few more fixtures. That blue device is for either an emergency circuit or another purpose. But if we want to, once again, we can grow it. You see all the low voltage wires. And again, we can simplify that very easily and very quickly. We're just running Cat5e in and out of each of those devices. It doesn't matter what direction they go in, as long as they're all connected in and out. If we so choose, at the end of the day, we can come in with our Sensorview software. We plug ourselves into the system, and we can actually now tell different groups of fixtures to talk to different switches in that room, or to have different set points on the occupancy sensors in there. So it has a lot of flexibility that gives us, again, for no more devices, no more control. We can just set it up that way. Let's say you wanted to add where those two doors are. There was a third and fourth door being put into that room. All we need to do is capture those extra switches into that space, and presto, you've now got a couple extra switches talking to that full room, depending on how you want to set it up. In its essence, where you might find that of interest is control from one end or the other of an arena. Maybe you want a third switch over by a reception desk somewhere. Again, this is building the system a little bit bigger. Again, with our gateways and our bridges, just showing how everything starts to go together. The bridge ports have 8 ports. 2 of them we need for one in, one out, but allows us to connect 6 other spaces. This is just a quick look at what it might look like as you go floor to floor. Again, you have a gateway per floor with all of your bridges, and you start to expand the system. We talk to that gateway, and then everything coming out of that gateway, we can start to talk to each of those rooms. In essence, each of those bridges is probably a series of a couple of rooms. This is a quick look at the what we're available to tie back to. Again, these are basic systems for us, the Sensorview and the nLight. We can grow these systems to talk to full business management systems, your BAS. Again, as big as you need to make a system, we can support that. Oops. Blue boxes could be of interest to you. Blue box is a lighting control panel that comes with an astronomical clock. It starts with 4 relays. It grows itself to 32 relays. As you can see by that big gray box in the back, if we need to grow it even larger, it becomes a little more robust system, a little more robust time clock on it, but we can start to grow that as well. So as many relays as you need and lights you need to turn on and off, we have that ability. You'll see sitting at the front of the blue box on the ground there, a little photo cell, so we can start to set light limits of turn on points and turn off points, whether that be for indoor or outdoor type lighting. So if you wanted to control that, we have that ability as well on the simple end. This is what the system would look like as we grow the system. From your far left, the blue box LT. There's actually a new blue box coming out. It's called the blue box LT, and it's going to have some dimming control. Grows to the GR and take over from your breakers. And then we can also get into surge suppression and full, what we call our synergy system, which again is incorporating various different types of control, whether it be your dimming, backnet, DALI. We can incorporate it all into the same type of box. Again, Cat5e, once again, just showing you how we were able to talk to the various different points, whether it be off to the far right, our Xpoint Wireless router to take us into the wireless world, or keep us in the Cat5e down below. It's a quick look at how the Xpoint Wireless would go together. You got a fixture just floating out in space on the right-hand side there, top right, and that's the way it would look. That signal would be sent back through the wireless router and start to talk to your device, probably an up, down, on, off type of switch. It's a robust system. The system talks on a grid pattern. So if one of the fixtures that you see here fails, it will talk around that fixture and keep the system up and running. So there's no fear of having the whole system come down. We just keep it as a mesh system. We keep those fixtures within a 50-foot loop, and it'll just work its way around if for some reason one of those fixtures was to fail. And just a quick finish with Fresco, or sorry, not finish, but Fresco it's a little prettier device. Let's say you have a boardroom, or again, maybe something around your reception area. You just wanted to keep things looking a little nicer. This is a Cat5e device right now. Maybe going down in the future, it'll become part of our Xpoint Wireless, but right now it's just a Cat5e controller. Lights on, lights off, dimming, different scenes. Another look at the Fresco, a couple of the, it's actually, you'll see there the Bluetooth and control. That's actually a new feature in this coming out within the next 6 weeks. That Bluetooth control is actually going to be from a iPad, not an iPhone. It's going to be iPad controlled. Again, Fresco talking to the various systems and nLight. To the far right is our Synergy. Again, a bigger, more robust system giving us different options all within one box. Sensorview 13. This is a system. This will be coming out also in the next 6 weeks or so. This is going to bring everything together so you have one place to talk to all of your system, whether it be your wireless system or your Cat5e nLight based system. It's nice. It's a free software with the system. There's no upcharge for that. And it allows you to take a look at everything you have on your system. And if you need to make changes or controls or on and off, it allows you to do that.